Now, we always want to start off with, what is PowerOptions? PowerOptions is a patented suite of search and analysis tools designed for self-directed options investors. Using our tools, you can search across the universe of options and over 23 of the most commonly used option strategies. We have defaults set for you in each strategy for you to use as a stepping stone to create your own personal search, or you can clear the settings, of course, and create your own from scratch based on your needs, your personal goals, and the stocks that match your requirements for the given strategy. You can then further research and analyze the stock or the option, evaluate the profit and loss chart, what-if scenarios, compare different risk and returns, and compare parity trades as well. We also offer a powerful set of portfolio tools to help you track and manage your positions, which show as linked positions for better tracking. You can set alerts based on your trigger points that you'd use for that given strategy, and as you're tracking the positions, you can link to an analysis view to evaluate rollout opportunities where we do all the math for you. So you can analyze new potential returns, increasing potential returns, or eliminating some of the risk you might take on a position that's moving against you. Of course, in addition to that, we offer a virtual library of archived webinars, not only to help you get more familiar with the tools on the site, but also the various option strategies, management techniques, structure, and so much more. Now, Ernie Zarrenner created PowerOptions back in 1997, but everyone here on staff, myself included, uses these tools to trade our personal accounts, so we have many more years of combined trading experience. Now, our process and procedure for the Friday afternoon's presentation. There's some basic content we're going to review first, some review of the fusion positions, and a look at a new PowerOptions tool, in a sense. Not a tool, but an adjustment to a PowerOptions tool with a new sort of view or concept, and we'd like your feedback on that, not necessarily today, but maybe later on. But in any case, for our discussions, when you logged on to the webinar, the GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar platform would have appeared on your screen. Inside that platform is a question pod. Just use that pod to send us a question at any time during the presentation. If you have questions about general option strategy, the structure you might look for a covered call, credit spread, calendar spread, straddle or strangle position, or even maybe what criteria you might want to use to look for to buy a call or maybe to buy a put on a specific security, that's all fair game. Trade management, we are at expiration, of course. Many of you probably rolled or adjusted your positions prior to today's discussion, but you may have questions about, I did roll this position, but it got away from me. What trigger points might I have used for this particular strategy to roll sooner? Were there other adjustments I could have used? What adjustments do you use in the strategy? We field those questions as well. You may have questions about option specifics. What are some of the Greeks, gamma or theta? What is delta? What is implied volatility? And what can I expect with implied volatility crush? Or if you're just getting started out, you have questions on the options basics. What is in the money? What is out of the money? What is a good open interest? What volume should I be looking for? We were all there ourselves. We all started at the same spot. So please don't hesitate to ask. We'll field all of those questions as well. You may have questions about the tools and PowerOptions, setting up a specific screen, setting up a specific search, navigation of the site, evaluating a rollout opportunity showed in the portfolio for one of your positions. We'll take those on as well. And of course, if you have questions about the limited risk, married put, radioactive trading approach, you know we'll be able to handle those questions as well. Our basic ground rules, don't be shy. Please feel free to ask any questions at any time during the presentation. Be patient. There may be one or two questions ahead of yours, but we will handle every question that comes in. We're scheduled to be here from 4:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. However, if we have a high volume of questions, we'll be more than happy to stay online to make sure every question is handled. As always, we also encourage you to feel free to help us help others. During a discussion, when we're talking about maybe an adjustment or a rollout opportunity, but you have a different way of looking at evaluating or rolling a position, a different criteria you like to use for a particular strategy, underlying stock, or the option itself, then please use the question pod to share that with us, and we will share that with the rest of the audience as well. Now, I may ask you for clarification on your question, just to make sure I have all the I's dotted and all the T's crossed before we go off on a tangent. So just bear with me on that. I just want to make sure that everything is set. And most important, of course, let's have fun. Let's get ready for the weekend, get some good education under our belts, and see what next week's trading has in store for us. Now, before we like to move forward, we just always like to review some of our recently posted content and materials as well. Some of the recent archived webinars we've posted this week, roughly 7 of them in total, 3 from over the weekend and 4 actually just from today from our previous discussion. We talked about the married puts, a synthetic view, a synthetic long stock with a protective put as opposed to the proper structure. Would we enter a married put on a stock that's declining in price even though it's a bullish strategy? Ways to manage a losing long call, a bought call option that went against you. What are some of the ways we might look to manage that structure? Then we had sort of 4 rapid fire questions from Ron that came in that we posted today. Are there specific strategies using the market sentiment tool, one of the signature tools in PowerOptions, only about 7 minutes long? We talk about how we use the market sentiment tool when we see shifts in the buy or sell warnings for the positions in our portfolio, maybe what new positions we might enter. Screening against a watch list or a basket of stock in the PowerOptions patented search tool, how to create your own personal stock list to screen against rather than using a batch of criteria or other information. Discussion on the technical criteria in PowerOptions, some of the criteria you can use to filter across the universe of options to find stocks or securities that match your underlying needs while at the same time screening for the option criteria you'd want for your trading goals in the given strategy. And a quick review, what is the recommended management for credit spreads? We review some of the ways we might look to manage a credit spread position. And, of course, point to other full content and materials that you can use and that you can look at to go through more detail of the ways we might look to manage a debit spread, credit spread, or other strategy positions. So you want to check those out. You can just go to the PowerOptions YouTube channel, search for PowerOptions on YouTube, and you'll see the most recent public videos available. Before we move on into other discussions, I want to share something, a concept with you that's maybe a little bit new. I think I have it on my account, not 100% sure. Let's keep it simple, though. Let's just go to a married put, since we've been talking about it. And first, I'm going to go into the search. And those of you who are using PowerOptions, those of you who have been following me on the presentations, you know the standard view. We have our default criteria listed below that you can change to make any edits to match your desired criteria and your structure. What you'd like to see for the positions, whether you're doing a covered call, cash secured or naked put position, credit spread or debit spread, excuse me, you can adjust the time frame, expiration dates, return, probability, and so forth to match your goals for the strategy. In addition to that, now we have the positions that matched our default criteria that we would start to look at to analyze potential new married put to opens. This is one of the new ones that Ernie opened. Canadian Solar is starting to show a little bit more strength. I've been watching that one. You know, maybe I should have taken and gone into Hess or gone into Halliburton instead of Charles Schwab, but Charles Schwab did exactly what I wanted the few days after I opened the position. So I was comfortable with that, even though now the earnings pulled it back down. But in any case, as you're looking at the available criteria, you know you can click on Change Columns to add different data points that you'd like to see in the search grid. Now, just an idea, and those of you who are trial members or subscribers, send me an email later to support@powerop.com or anytime next week, playing around with a little bit of a different view, a little bit of a different idea. It's not in the search tool, where, of course, we can do our link to the profit and loss chart, further research for the stock or the option, as I mentioned, what-if scenarios with the calculators tools, and so forth. But let's go to search by symbol, and I'm going to take CSIQ very quickly. And let's see, I'd probably go out to July here, 182 days out in time, and let's just go more results. Okay, now, it It worked on my other account. It's not working. It worked on my guest account. It didn't work here. My actual account, not the webinar account. Maybe I should make a change there so we could see it. I think I'm going to have to. So let's go ahead and pause the screen for a moment. We're just going to juggle this. I apologize. I wanted to check this beforehand. I didn't get a chance to. I'm going to go right back to the same spot we were just looking at. CSIQ under married put, search by symbol. There we go. Okay. So sorry about that. Just a view to consider. And some of you might be seeing this, some of you might not. What's different now? Rather than having the wide range and the ability to add the data columns that you'd want in that case, where it'd extend the graph all the way out to one side, you'd have to scroll all the way over to see the data points. This view is a fixed view with the commonly selected criteria available. And of course, we can sort it right away by clicking the link for implied volatility, highest to lowest or lowest to highest. Let's do percent max risk. That'll be more obvious. So we can do that there to go from lowest to highest or highest risk to lowest, essentially. And it's just a basic view, but the other data columns you could see aren't lost. What we would do here is just click the little green plus button, and now we have some of the other columns that we can select. You can still change the columns, but the additional columns will appear here in this sort of pop-up menu that comes up so that you could use potentially for comparisons. And you can change the order, as always, on the top 8, depending on which columns that you use for data analysis and comparisons on the grid on the position. So, for those of you that are active members of PowerOptions, just consider the view. Ability to click and sort by a column immediately. Ability to still have all the columns you want. Select to view the important columns first in the first 8 or 9 boxes, and then being able to open up the window to see the other detail that you would have selected for your position. Versus the standard search view that you know, where you have all of that information here in the grid, don't have the ability to sort with one click by the columns, but you can still sort it down here by any columns, highest to lowest you want, and both have the same opportunity to do the full research and analysis with the more information button as well. Not something that we're going to change necessarily, not something that's going to happen and be forced upon you. We're just going to start putting it up there for some general feedback to see what you may like going forward as well. If you're on a trial or a subscription, underneath the main home tab, when you log into PowerOptions to schedule the coaching session, just click on free coaching, and you can select a time that's available that matches your schedule, here. These are all Eastern times. You want to keep that in mind, Eastern time zone here. We're available from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. most days. You see the available times that you can schedule, and then Ernie or myself will call you if you live inside the continental U.S. If you live outside the continental U.S., when you schedule your session, we can just say, I could just say, oh, I'm international. I want to talk about strategy discussion. I want to talk about spread trade management. If I could type correctly, sorry, folks. There we go. Spread trade management. Live in Europe and would not prefer to call in. Can we set up an online Teams, Zoom, or other? Okay. And so what we'll do when Ernie, I see your note that comes in with what you want to discuss. If you're international, we can set up a video conference to use. We don't have to use video, but we can screen sharing to use, so you don't have to worry about calling in and paying for the international call. I will use GoToMeeting, the similar format that we're looking at here today with GoToWebinar. Ernie will probably use Zoom or another session. And once I have everything set, just click on Reserve Now. Click on Finished. And now I see my time, and I'll receive an email, and I'll receive a follow-up email when it's about an hour for my coaching session to call in. And if I did request, a a video conference, then I would send you the link to that as well. But Ron's question was actually, is there a way to pay online or do I have to call in? You can do it any way that you want. Okay, so as I mentioned before, Ron, I went to subscription info on my trial. It was here. I'm actually going to take the historical level of service. I want the delayed data, which gives me access to picks of the day, not available at the end of the day, and the search results by email so I can have those sent to me, and the full access to the 6.5, 7 years of back testing data. I want to do that, and then I can just click on review subscription. And okay, just ignore all that there, and that's expired because it was from 2008 or 2009 we did this an example. So I'd have to update my credit card or create a new billing profile, and then we'd be all set to go. Okay, so if you're not comfortable putting your credit card information online, it is totally secure. Trust me, we've got all the bells and whistles in the background for compliance, Ron, and everything else. But if you're not comfortable, just give us a call during market hours. We'll enter your information here through our portal. We'll get you subscribed right away. And Ron, on that note, I missed your call yesterday, I believe it was, and I attempted to call you back about 35 minutes later after I ended a coaching session, left a message with you, but I didn't hear back from you. I didn't see if you called today. I was busy doing, putting up some of those videos and doing other things as well, Ron. So I apologize that I didn't get in touch with you. Hopefully you got a chance to talk with Ernie this week, but I did attempt to call you back related to your question. Shashir says, how do I access historical options data and the back testing tools? Okay, let's go back to PowerOptions. We're just going to take a limited look at this, Shashir. Not really limited, of course, but first things first, free webinars, PowerOptions tools section on your trial. There's a recent one within the past 2 years that was a full description, or was a full review of using our historical tools. And oh God, it's older than that. Maybe I didn't put it up here. I apologize. Yeah, there's a much more recent one than this. Maybe we'll find it on YouTube. I got to take that one off. So thank you for pointing that to me. But you see here the functions of the portfolio tools, recent content, the market sentiment, picks of the day, so on and so forth. Excuse me. But I thought there was a recent historical one here. Oh, there it is, 2020 features of the historical backtest tools, 13-minute video. So you can check that out, Shashir. But the historical tools are essentially 3 different functions for history, Shashir. Number 1, of course, is just the historical chain. And I'll go with APA, and I'll just go to chain. Now, this is a trial, and during the trial, you have access to about 2 to 3 months of historical data. So all I have to do is, now that I'm in the chain, let's say I just wanted to look at puts recently. I wanted to buy puts on Apache maybe a month or 2 ago to see how they work. Let me just go to the medium chain, but I want to see the chain that was available on December 1st, December 2nd, let's say roughly, or December 5th. Okay, so I'm on the chain. If you have the history, you can just do that selection. You can see the prices of the put option and the stock price for the different expirations. Let's go out January 13th. Stock was trading at 45.71 on December 5th. Slightly out of the money put. Let's just take the 40. Was it 97? I'm sorry, was it 102 roughly at midpoint for January 13th? Oh, we've already passed. So let's go ahead now. Let's just go to January 13th, that expiration. We were on the 40 put at 102. Now, of course, we probably didn't make a profit in this case, but let's go ahead and take a look. There we go. And the 40 strike put was worth 73 cents. So, oh, that's the wrong expiration. So for the 13th at 0, we would have been at 0. My apologies there. That would have been, trade didn't work out, but that doesn't mean it wasn't profitable during the time period. Okay. So the chain will just allow you to do that. You can go previous day, next day, scroll day by day if you want to. The main use, of course, is going to be inside the tools and strategies itself. So let's go to Bull Put Credit real quick. Excuse me. And in addition to using the search, sample searches, picks of the day, and so forth, the rest of the historical tools are done by strategy, Shashir. So I'll go to Backtest. And now I have the Smart History Excel or the search by symbol. So now with the search by symbol, I can see what bull put credit spreads were available on Apache back on December 2nd for, let's say, standard December expiration, or I'm sorry, December 5th. And I just want to take, let's see, December expiration series, and I'll go more results. I apologize for it being a little bit slow this year. What the system is doing now is uploading all of the historical data and interacting with the historical table. So while we're trying to interact with it, the data uploads interacting with it, so it moves a little bit slowly. So here's a variety of different trades that would have matched the criteria at that time. Where's my probability? Yes, I would have been up here. Maybe I probably would want to see a little bit more, restrict this a little bit differently. But now that I have the results, I can say, okay, let me go ahead and calculate the group results. What the calculate group results feature is going to do is show me how each one of these spreads ended at expiration. And of course, they're all at 100% loss. Apache was at 45.71. We were close to at the money, and the stock fell at 43.79. I just want to say, by the way, that for this bull put credit, I wouldn't be using the search by symbol tool unless it was a different type of stock. These don't match the criteria I'd use for a bull put. You know I'm going to be up to the 80-85% probabilities that didn't come right away. In addition to the calculate group results that shows you how each of those trades finished at expiration, either on this view or the previous view, we could look at each individual position using analyzed position or just price history. I prefer the analyzed positions this year because what that allows me to do is see how the stock performed. I could have closed this position on 12.13 for a profit of 18.9% as the Apache had moved up in price before it went into a loss as well. And we could see the other views here also. Now, I like Apache. I want to see the Apache positions, but I would have only traded the ones that had the return, the probability that I wanted. And that's when I'm going to go to backtest and I'm going to Smart History Excel. I would have already had a save search. So what the search Smart History Excel tool here does this year is it allows you to search based on your criteria or the default criteria we have on PowerOptions any day back in time to see what trades would have met the criteria. I'm just going to use bull put weekly, but I usually have a single stock search here available. One stock bull put template. I would select that and then just put Apache in the screen against it in the search. But I'm just going to use the weekly bull puts. And this is going to show me the positions in that case that would have matched the criteria on December 5th. And then, of course, as we saw, as we saw with the other tool, I can calculate group results. So there's a variety of trades: Domino's Pizza, Guardant Health, Nucor, and you see my probabilities 87, 85 with returns up above 15.6%. Dick's Sporting Goods, Baidu, Nvidia. Ooh, that's probably going to get hurt. But again, open on December 5th with December 16th expiration, calculate group results. And a mixed bag. Now, you know that I wouldn't let any of these go to 100% loss or a 98.5% loss if possible. We talked about the management techniques last week. This one didn't work out too well in a bearish market. 73% success rate. Target's usually about 84 to 85 in the right market conditions. Average loss was 13.9% with a 73% win rate. Okay, so what did I do? I said, maybe this isn't working, but let me take a look at the market conditions as well. Take a look at the stock chart and take a look at SPY and see maybe this wasn't the right time for bull puts. But let's go ahead and say now, what if I did that same search on December 18th? So I rode these ones out to December 16th, or December 19th, excuse me. Didn't have a good success rate because the market was weak. Market was a little stronger after December 19th, maybe. How would this criteria would have performed? Actually, I should be doing it in January, but we'll leave it to December here. I'm keeping the same criteria. We're just going to see different trades that matched on December 19th. Once it comes up, because it's interacting, with the table, so that's usually a little bit slow. But as before, as I mentioned, you can analyze the positions and everything. So there's only 10 trades really that match the criteria here. Again, calculate group results. There you go. 100% success rate, average of a 12.5% return for the available trades. During a time period, QQQ was down 1.3 and SPX was only up 0.6%. Again, those are the 11-day trades from 12/19 to December 30th. So what am I doing here? Whether you've created your own trade, whether you've created your own search, you're testing out the default criteria, you're going cycle by cycle to see how it performed, and then saying, hey, well, it did work occasionally, did not work occasionally. Maybe I can go ahead now and make some adjustments, tweak the criteria. Can I increase the performance of the strategy I'm using or the criteria I'm using to get the better win rate that I'm looking for or the better return rate in various months and eliminate losses as well? That's just how the backtesting tools work. The Smart History Excel tool in the backtesting view, the search by symbol in the backtesting view, and of course the historical option chain. But follow up to that, you said, how do I upgrade from EOD to delayed subscription? Well, anytime you're on the search, as you can see here in my trial account, I limited it down to end of day. That's mostly for screenshot principles when I'm during the day, when I'm doing profit and loss screenshots of positions for webinars. I don't want the numbers to keep changing using my account that's in real time. So I set it to end of day. But on your account, you should see it right here. It shows end of day. It's going to show that on all accounts now because it's 5:45 p.m. Eastern time. The market's been closed for an hour and 45 minutes. All I have to do is click upgrade. And it takes me to that same page where I can say, hey, I want to upgrade to the $65 level. I want to upgrade to the 100 Shashir. When you're on the search, when you're on your main page, if you click a tool, even the sample searches are searched by symbol, you should see that upgrade button right there. You click on that, it'll take you to that subscription page. Of course, if you want to upgrade, just let me know. You're kind of letting me know. So I can take care of that for you after the webinar, and come Monday at around 9:45, you'll start seeing updates to the data instead of the end of day, Shashir. So I can do it that way too. But either way, you can upgrade manually using that button. Of course, you can also do it through your account. If I just go to my account, there's a link there to upgrade subscription as well as upgrade credit card or personal information. Apologize for the cough there, folks. Okay, so any of those ways to do it. Upgrade from the search or from the chain when you see the end of day data, upgrade the subscription from the My Account link, send me an email, give us a call, let us know, and we'll get you upgraded from here. Either way, very easy. Or downgrade later on when you want to do that also.